Good morning, guys. How are you doing? Today we're gonna start the first lesson in chapter 5, and this lesson will be about congruent triangles. Okay? So, what is the meaning of congruent triangles? Actually, when we're talking about congruent triangles, we are talking about the congruent parts of first triangle, which is congruent to its corresponding parts in the second triangle. What does it mean? Let's have this example. Okay, imagine that I have these two triangles and I need to ensure that I need to examine whether these two triangles are congruent or not. Okay, and it's given that this side, let me give them some names. So angle ABC, and the second triangle we call it XYZ, and as you can see it's already given that angle B is congruent to angle Y, angle A is congruent to angle X, and angle C is congruent to angle Z. And I will add these pieces of information that this side, which is AB, is congruent to the XY, and AC is congruent to XZ, and BC is congruent to XY. By the way, the meaning of congruent sides, it means they have the same length. And we mean by congruent angles that these angles have the same measure. Okay, so let's list the corresponding parts in first triangle to their corresponding parts in second triangle. So here we have three pairs of congruent sides and congruent angles. Okay, I can say that angle B is congruent to angle Y, and I can say that angle A is congruent to angle X, and angle C is congruent to angle Z. Okay, and these are the corresponding angles. So let's list the corresponding sides in each triangle. So from the first triangle, I can say that AB, line segment AB, is congruent to the line segment XY, and the line segment YZ, from the first one, which is BC, is congruent to the one which is YZ from the second triangle, and the line segment AC is congruent to line segment XZ. Here we already listed three corresponding sides and three corresponding angles, and we call them corresponding parts. Okay, so the three pairs of corresponding angles and three pairs are of corresponding sides, they are equal to each other. If they are congruent to each other, then the two triangles are congruent. So let's sum up. I can say that two triangles are congruent if they have the same size and the same shape. Okay, so the two triangles are congruent if they have the same size and the same shape. That means the three pairs of corresponding parts are congruent. Three angles are congruent to their corresponding angles in the second triangle, and three sides are congruent to their corresponding sides in the second triangle, and that means the two triangles are congruent. Okay, so here appears a really important question. Okay, do I need every time in order to prove the two triangles are congruent, do I need to list the corresponding congruent parts, the three angles and the three sides? Actually, we don't need to do that because we have 5 theorems and postulates. By using them, you can prove that the two triangles are congruent. And let's go and start with the first theorem, which is side, side, side postulate. Okay? And this postulate indicates that if we can show that all 3 pairs of corresponding sides are congruent, then the triangles have to be congruent. And it means, imagine that I have these 2 triangles, and I have, as it is given, this side is congruent to that side, okay, and this side is congruent to that side, and the third side is congruent to the third side, that one is congruent to that one. If I can prove that the 3 sides in the 2 triangles are congruent, so actually the 2 triangles are congruent. And to do so, let's have the next example, okay? Before we have the example, let's have another postulate, which is side, angle, side. This is the second postulate, which I can use to prove the 2 triangles are congruent. So, first one was side, side, side. And the second one will be side, angle, side. Okay? Side, angle, side. So, in order to prove that these 2 triangles are congruent, okay, you can use this postulate, side, angle, side. And you need to make sure that 2 sides are congruent and the included angle should be congruent. So the angle must be included between the 2 sides. Included means this angle, if we're talking about these 2 sides, so the included angle is the angle which is located in between the 2 sides. Okay, so as we see, this side, this one is congruent to this one, and this side is congruent to this side, and it's given information, and the included angle between the 2 sides is congruent to the included angle between the 2 sides in the second triangle. So I can say that since we have side and included angle and other side, so the 2 triangles are congruent, and the reason for that is because of the postulate side, angle, side. Okay, so this angle is included angle between the 2 sides, but this angle is not included between the 2 sides. Okay, so when I prove the 2 triangles are congruent, I need to care about this kind of angle, which is included angle between the 2 congruent sides. Okay. Previously, we had 2 separated triangles, but actually now we have one big triangle which is divided into 2 smaller triangles. Okay, so we have 2 triangles, this one, and we have another one. And as you see, between these 2 triangles, there's a common side. So this side, okay, and this side in black is a common side between the 2 triangles. So make sure that if you have a common side between two triangles, then if you could redraw these two triangles separately. So let's try to do it. Let's sketch them. This is the one on the right, and this is the one on the left. As you see, this side is common side between these two triangles, okay? And this is the meaning of a common side, okay? And we use the reflexive property. Reflexive property indicates that the common side is congruent to itself. Okay, so let's have some exercises, let's have some examples, and let's think about how to prove these triangles are congruent. And let's start with the first one. Okay, I give you 30 seconds. You can pause the video and try to come up with the answer. So here we have example number 1. Feel free to pause the video and try to examine yourself what postulate you can use in order to prove that these two triangles are congruent. This triangle, this is the first one, and this is the second one. Okay? Okay. So guys, according to the given information about the example number 1, here we have two triangles, okay, that I need to prove the congruency between them. So we have first the triangle which is in purple and the second triangle which is in green, and as you see, there's a common side between the two triangles. So given that this side is congruent to that side, and that side from the green triangle is congruent to that side in purple triangle, and this side is a common side between the two triangles, and according to the notation of common side, the common side is congruent to itself according to reflexive property. So here we can prove the two triangles are congruent by using side, side, side postulate. Okay? Feel free to check whether you can find out the reason of congruent between these two triangles or not. Feel free to pause the video and I will come up with the answer right now. So, for example, B, we have two triangles. This is the first one, okay? And this is the second triangle. And my question is how to prove the two triangles are congruent. Okay? Let's try side, side, side. Let's try the first postulate. Okay, and we're going to check whether this postulate, side, 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 helps or does not help. So let's check. I have one side is congruent to one side. Okay, that's good. I have the second side from the triangle on the right is congruent to the second side in the triangle on the left. But actually, do we have any clue about this side? Can I say this side is congruent to this side? It's not given information, and actually we can't prove that two sides are congruent. So now side, side, side postulate doesn't help. So let's move and check the second postulate or the second theorem, and this theorem was side angle side. Let's see if side angle side helps or does not help in order to prove the two triangles are congruent. Okay, so let's here check for side angle side. Here I need to check for two sides and included angle. So it's given this side is congruent to that side. This one is congruent to this one. And about the angles, I can easily prove that this angle is congruent to this angle. And they are congruent because they are vertical opposite angles. So here we can use the SAS theorem. So this angle, this side is congruent to its corresponding side. So we could prove that we have two congruent sides in the two triangles. And then we have one angle is congruent to its corresponding angle. And the reason is because they are vertical opposite angles. And we have the second side is congruent to the second side. So these two triangles actually are congruent by side angle side. Okay, let's think about the third exercise. Okay, and here we have something different. I need to get benefit from all the given information. Okay, and the given information here is this side is parallel to this side. These two sides are parallel. And when you hear that two sides are parallel and you have a transversal which intersect them or cut them, actually you need to think about some pair of angles. You need to think about alternate interior angles. You need to think about corresponding angles. Okay, and you need to make sure that you can get benefit from every single given information. Okay, the second piece of the given information is these two sides are congruent and it's all given information. Okay, so what is the result if these two sides are congruent? This side is congruent to this side. So what happens? And actually we have a transversal, and the transversal cuts the two sides. So you need to think about alternate interior angles. This angle and that angle, actually they are congruent, and the reason because the two sides are parallel. And we have another pair of angles. We have this angle, angle O is congruent to angle O because both are alternate interior angles. So far I have really good information, informative information actually we have, but we still have one common side. Okay, so if you could draw the two triangles separately, I will do it right now. Okay, and let's plot the given information, and the triangle right here will be like this. And let's plot the given information. I have that this side is congruent to this side, okay, and it's given information. And there's a common side, which is this one, okay, this one. And I have angle O, which is located right here, is congruent to angle O, which is located right here. And angle X, which is right here, is congruent to angle X, which is right there. Okay? So, do we have enough information right now to prove that the two triangles are congruent? Actually, we do. Okay? So, which postulate you need to use? Does side help? Here we have clues about two sides, but the third one we can't prove that this side is congruent to this side. So SSS doesn't help right now. So let's check for the second one, which is side angle side. Does it help? So I have one side is congruent to one side. Okay? And the second side is congruent to the second side right here. And I have the included angle between these two sides is congruent to the included angle between the other sides. So actually angle side helps, and these two triangles are congruent by side angle side theorem. Okay? So let's have the answers different way. Okay, we have a common side for first one. We have actually a common side. Okay, and then it means the two triangles are congruent, and the reason because of SSS, side, and here we have two vertical angles, so the two triangles are congruent by side angle side, or SAS, and here because of we have two parallel lines, so alternate angles are congruent, and we have a common side, so the two triangles are congruent by the postulate SAS, side angle side. Okay, this is the end of the part 1. See you inshallah very soon in part 2. Thank you so much and have a nice time.